Welcome, everybody. How are you today? Thanks for chatting in. Nice to have you here. Arizona's in the room. I'm Diane. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. I'm noticing the video being a little funky. Let's just hang with technology. Bermuda, hello there. Everybody's giving the weather report. Well done, well done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm looking over here at the chat box, just seeing all the hellos and the check-ins. Good evening in Switzerland. Thank you for the orientation. Toronto, Canada's in the room. So we are really worldwide connecting, as should be the case. Yeah. Always changing our perceptions and not being so nation-centric and all other ways centric, really seeing from other views. Hello, Sandy. Thank you for saying hi to everybody. I really love that. I really want to see you in the circle, as I say, shoulder to shoulder. So let's pretend, let's use the mind for good. You're here with me and with each other, and together it's just a moment to begin to train, right? What we're going to do with our mind and our body, and be curious about how that moves us in the direction of a sustainable life. So the intentionality here of showing up is quite big. And if you're new, no worries, just take it as an experiment and just keep on keeping on, right? So we can't do something once, we have to do it many times in order to find out in what way is it shaping us. So hi, everyone, make yourself comfortable. Welcome. Welcome here in this moment to this circle that widens our perceptions so we can include more than our own perspectives. So I'll offer a little bit of a topic, and then we'll dive into practice to see how we can apply the science and the truth of something more than mindfulness, but often just called mindfulness, is just the quality of awareness that's been around for over 2,000 years. To really apply that science to influence the topic of being human. All right. So, has anybody seen the documentary, A Stranger at Your Gate? A Stranger at Your Gate. I'm going to put a little post in the chat box. Don't need to go to it now. Don't get crazy distracted. Just kind of capture it and maybe check it later. So this is a really beautiful Stranger at the Gate. I was just checking to make sure I had the right title. Just watched it. It's brilliant. It is a documentary about a Marine who did many missions in Afghanistan and was traumatized, obviously. How could we not be, right? In many ways. And came back home, lost his band of brothers, and was traumatized without any meaning or purpose, and just filled with hatred for this target that he was trained to attack, basically looking at Muslims as the target, and couldn't let this leave his bones until an amazing moment where he almost destroyed a mosque, and in his efforts to do so actually came face to face with the founders of that mosque, and through their kindness, I don't even think that's a sufficient word, through their high level practice of the essence of being a Muslim, through that high level practice of being a human, welcomed this fierce looking, stocky, red-faced, angry white man heading their way. And he was intending to bomb the mosque. So I won't go on about all the details. You can watch it yourself, but I think it's a beautiful study. There's so many layers here. of how do we actually heal. How do we move from, as they were saying in the documentary, from hate to understanding? What are the elements that go into that? And one big one was this welcoming, true welcoming, not pseudo kindness for strategic means, but really seeing someone suffering and realizing that what's missing, a primary missing element, is connection and meaning, purpose, love. And from there, his familiarity with the truth of a human being, not a group, not a target, not, as he talked about in the documentary, of a paper target, that he could see the blood and the breath and the beauty, and everything changed from there. So in honor of all the suffering that goes on in this world, all levels of our confused mind that finds hatred, which is a very, very strong word, but take it on the spectrum, from hatred to just, I don't really want to give that person my attention. On that spectrum, that we can all learn how to train to become a little bit more familiar, a little bit more kind, a little bit more understanding. And it starts right here within our own selves, the way in which we're disappearing and disconnecting because we're trained to. And then how does that get projected into the world, right? So what's one of the antidotes is to come back and connect with ourselves and not discard any aspect of our experience. So having said all that, I hope you enjoy the documentary. And I love that you've chatted in and that we've got the weather report and we know where we are on this earth, and our connectivity is our truth and humanity. The love, the loss, and our phenomenal ability to create meaning out of everything that comes our way. So let's drop in. We're going to work with the body just a little bit, right? So we need to be with the body and give it some elements so it can be trained a little bit differently from the automatic, I got to push for more, or pushed away something. And then dive in to studying the breath and getting to know our experience, seeing if we can actually welcome ourselves in the similar way that deep suffering was met at the mosque, and see what comes of it, right? So the challenge here is to see if you can find some levels of satisfaction rather than striving to change anything. And if you come up against some bumps in your experience of discomfort or not liking or doesn't feel very good, can you extend that welcome and that care and consideration? All right, so let's start where we are, as you are, according to your body. Just offer that little bit of movement. If you want, you can place your hands on your hips and then begin to circle into the pelvic area, just to wake it up there, just to wake up what gets held very tightly. Very careful with the lower back. Enjoy the movement. You can have your eyes open or closed, but let the attention be with this pelvic region. And of course, the breath is here. So left hip back, right hip forward. Really feeling into this area that is one of the primary areas that gets very tight in our difficulty moving through space, the dear body, and all the emotions, all the assumptions, all the protection that naturally happens, just unkinking the hose a little bit. Stopping anywhere in your circles where you feel like you want to pause and feel into the movement and the stretch. And notice if you've gone off somewhere else, and see if you can drop that mind right into the body, remembering the essence here is the connectivity and the focal attention, not so much liking or disliking. Maybe you like it. It's all right. Maybe you don't. But staying the course, giving the body a little bit of movement. And just be curious about any areas that you were unaware of. Like, wow, I had no idea I was holding so much in my pelvic region. Okay, a few more go arounds, because I know you're at the point where you want to stop. So that's always the point, to not stop. Maybe there's a few cracks in the spine. There you go. And then finding your way into that center point, and then just offer a little bit of shaking, not too much. In Qigong, wonderful Qigong teacher I work with calls this trembling leaf. So let yourself tremble. Let the breath leave you. A little bit more. Right now I'm just kind of bouncing in the chair, really feeling the reverberations up the spine, allowing the shoulders to settle. And if you want to do a little bit of the shaking back and forth, really getting a wee bit of a twist in the spine, just waking up any solidification in the nervous system. And then the big release and letting yourself come into stillness. Softening the eyes and settling in, getting to know the impact of just that little bit of connectivity and movement. And getting to know how you are, the how are you practice that I've introduced before. How are you? And really know how you know it. How you know it in the mind, where you might be contracted or distracted. In the future or the past. Feeling open or closed there. Rigid or flexible in the mind. Overwhelmed by too much information, or able to come right into the signal. And aware of how you are in this connection to emotion, how the thoughts and the meaning and assumptions, perceptions all lead to a certain tonality of emotion. All just knowing, not trying to fix or figure it out. That welcome, that embracing of a kind understanding. And how you are, and how you know it in the body, how it links to the body, where there's contraction or expansion, fixed or fluid. Felt or really fleeing any awareness of body. You're here, and there's something quite sufficient no matter all the tumult. Now, very gently, if it works for you, allowing the breath to influence the experience and maybe locate that attention a little bit closer in. Just letting the breath be fully released. It's very hard to let go all the air. We tend to bias the inhale. And notice when the body says, oh, it's time to inhale, and really let that happen. Feel it through the nostrils and quite deep into the chest. Your own pace and rhythm, very, very gentle, slow, slower. A sensation, a few more rounds of this directive breath, not the story. The next exhale, really feel the entirety of the body, the bones of the body beginning to settle down. Shoulders dropping. Entire base of the body resting deeper into the surface beneath. Letting the breath be and just noticing. So as you continue to invite yourself here with a welcoming understanding, take good care of your stranger at the gate here. So let the body settle and know, oh, maybe I need a little bit more support. Where can I really rest and be fully engaged and energized? Feel it in the body. And if you wish to really strengthen the signal of attention, you could place a hand at your belly. Really see it as that extension of kindness. And just the direct perceptual cues of touch. Really feeling the rhythm of breath there. So here, as we practice together in this way, the invitation is to be quite curious about the conclusions that come of liking something or not liking something in your experience. The challenge is to create that environment of kindness, understanding. Any pain of body or mind or heart. Any want of more or less. And that simply this, paying attention with this open receptivity, returning without struggle to just the soft sense of this rhythm of your life, the breath moving in and out, weightedness of the body. Just to train, to remember. Steady, stable, really inclusive of all the activity without being reactive toward it. reminding the body of its safety, jaw resting, tongue softening. Notice any tension that's occurring in any effort here, and settle down, soften back and belly. The power of this presence, no matter the dose, as long as it's repeated, can begin to inform the levels of fear, the exile that happens inside of us, where we target what's good and bad in our own experience. Something sustainable right here. The system, quite trustworthy. Find it. Find one glimpse of satisfaction, ease, right within yourself, as you are in this moment. There you go. And then recognizing this next gift of breath, always reminding myself it is not guaranteed. And it's given in hopes that we will sustain all life. Breathing in, feeling the entirety of the body, the strength of the spine, the openness of the heart, and the intelligence of more than just your mind, opening the eyes if they've been closed, just reflecting on how you are now. And taking it forward, being curious about this application. Well, what does this have to do with the topic? I'm always reminded of a James Baldwin quote, and of course, within the context of the time, until white men can face their own difficulties, they will always need a negro. So in simple form, until we're able to be with our own pain, it will always be projected. There will need to be a target that we annihilate. So here we go. We got remedies, right? We have remedies. We have moment-to-moment practices like this that can help us remember more and widen our gaze, and open our perspectives, and bridge that divide. So I hope that was a benefit to you, everybody here. Diving deep. Now go play. Realize that that's a big aspect. We want to tackle the big issues of being human that are just born into the topics that we read, right? That's where they come from. And so we can go back to the source through our practice to figure out what kind of remedies. But part of that is learning how to play and care for ourselves. So I'm wishing whatever time zone you're on, wherever you are on the planet, that you now take your next steps toward whatever it is that brings you a sense of joy. Please. And let it be generative, moving you forward. All right, everybody. I am Diane. I'm always happy to be here with you, practicing studying, training, looking at all the limitation and the possibility, and I will be back for more. All right. See you soon, everybody. Happy fall. Enjoy the transitions. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for the thank yous. I know. Stay close to yourself. Lovely. Sending in some beautiful loving kindness extensions. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank yourself. You could have done something else. Look what you did. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.